T cell maturation, activation and differentiation. B cell generation, activation and differentiation. Arise in the bone marrow but migrate to the thymus gland to mature. Cannot recognize antigen alone. T cells receptor can recognize only antigen bound to cell membrane protein in MHC molecule. CD4 TH and CD8 TC. Types: helper T cells, cytotoxic T cells, suppressor T cells. Crucial steps: a native T cell encounters antigen combined with a MHC molecule on a cell. T cell profits differentiates into memory T cells and various effector T cells. B lymphocytes mature within the bone marrow, and when they leave it, each express a unique antigen binding receptors on its membrane. Plasma cells live for only a few days. They secrete enormous amount of antibody, 12,000 per second. Comparing notes: T cell receptors (TCRs) enable the cell to bind to and if additional signals are present to be activated by and respond to an peptide present by APCs. There are two types of T cells, and thus two types are TCRs, CDS and CD4. CD8 T cells destroy the cells they bind to such a virus cell. CD4 cells group together to cause inflammation which isolates an infected area so it can heal, help build immunity. B cell receptors BCR enable the cell to bind and if additional signals are present to be activated by the response to an epitope on molecule a soluble antigen. B cells bind to these toxins and digest them into smaller pieces. The respondent ends with the descendant of the B cells secreting antibodies via the plasma cell. Positive and negative selections. Positive selection permits the survival of only those T cells which T cells are capable of recognizing self-MHC molecule. It is thus responsible for the creation of a self-MHC restricted receptor T cell. Cells that fail positive selections are eliminated within the thymus by apoptosis. Negative selection eliminates T cells that react too strongly with the self-MHC plus self-peptides bearing high affinity receptor called self-MHC molecule alone or self-antigen presented by self-MHC with result in the self-tolerance. It is an extremely important factor in generating a primary T cell peptide that is self-tolerant. B cell maturation and development. During B cell development, sequential Ig gene rearrangement transforming a pro-B cell into an immature B cell expressing a MIG with a single antigen specific. Further development yields mature native B cells expressing both MIGM and MIGD. Signals for activation. In addition to the signals mediated by the T cells receptor is associated accessory molecule signal 1. Signal 1 activation on the TH cell requires a co-stimulatory signals to provided by the antigen presenting cell. Engagement of CTLA4, a close relative of CD28 by B7 inhibits T cell activation. Differentiate in T cell. Native cells are resetting cells that have not encouraged antigen activation of a native cell lead to the generation of effector and a memory T cells. Memory T cells, which are more easily activated than native cells, are responsible for the secondary response. The T cells receptor is shaped by apoptosis in the thymus and periphery. Gamma delta T cells are not MHC receptors.